For the beginning, we have so much satisfying video from Krosno in Poland, where on the local airfield, a synchro drone show was performed just a few days ago. And what's even better, Peter Kosmala recorded this event from his FPV drone. Just look how beautiful this is. Alright, so my name's Regan TETLOW, I'm your host, and this is the last episode of the 8th season of Air Sports News, the one and only programme focusing on air sports and aviation. And you can share and like our content as well, and subscribe. So here we are, the last one, this time from Manchester, UK. Let's get to it. With bad weather conditions during almost all the 11th FAI World Paragliding Accuracy Championships in Prelep, North Macedonia, pilots were forced to be extremely focused as they had just a few chances to prove their highest skills. Who won? Well, let's check it out. Following the official FAI information, out of 10 days, 7 were rainy and 2 had snow. Organisers had to face huge pressure to get the most precise weather forecasting and organise logistics to find these tight windows between rain clouds and try to conduct rounds. Out of 5 rounds that begun, only 3 were completed, but they were enough to choose the 2021 champions. In the overall male category, Sigon Ain from South Korea took the gold, second place was Vlastimir Vlach from the Czech Republic, and third place goes to Daeom Lee from South Korea. The best female pilot was Daeom Lee from South Korea, winning with the Czech Marteja Toskova and South Korea's Yoo-jung Cho. Domination of South Korea was huge, and this team took the gold in nations classification. Second was the Czech Republic, and third Slovenia. Congratulations to you all. Our friends from the Great British national team tried to win the places on the podium, but finally they finished below the top 20. Anyway, without fighting for a gold, they had a good opportunity to observe the best pilots and all the emotions around. And I had a quick call with Andy Shaw and Marintha Ewington right after the contest.
We've had 10 days of rain, snow, wind, high winds, competition on, off, competition start, stop. We started rounds, we finished rounds. We started rounds, but we haven't finished rounds. We're about to carry on with another round because we've moved the target location, the mountain location.
That's air sports for you.
Yes, love it, love it.
How did it finish off? How did you guys do?
Well, we did really well. It only went over 3 rounds. So typically there are competitions over 12 rounds. And this time we only did 3 rounds. But there's a lot of stamina and duration because people are wet, they're cold, they're miserable. They're standing on the airfields, mountains, waiting for cloud to lift, rain to stop, snow to go away.
Yeah.
It was a tough one. We did well. We did quite well. I was the second top Brit. Miri was the top lady. And the team UK come 14th overall, which is not too bad, really, considering we're coming out of COVID and we've not been training. And we know who the guys are to work on at the moment across the world.
And that's just the beginning of the fall-winter paragliding emotions, because 2 more great events are about to happen right soon. Let's find out what's going on. The Paragliding World Cup in La Rioja, Argentina has started today, and the final is about to happen on the 27th of October. The return to Argentina is therefore very poignant. FAI announced an Argentinian paragliding double bill with the World Cup in La Rioja, closely followed by the World Championships at Loma Bola that will start just 4 days after the first event. La Rioja is in the foothills of the Andes, and the first event is planned for the takeoff location of Cerro de la Cruz, almost 1,200 meters above the medium sea level, 600 meters above the flatlands in front of the launch site. And flying along the ridgeline and back into the mountains is a classic route, but there is also options to connect to the flats. We'll let you know about the results as soon as we get them. Wingsuit proximity flying is known as one of the most dangerous air sports on and off the planet, with huge risk, high speeds and just fractions of a second to make the correct decisions. Some pilots give themselves ample margin for safety and some don't. Just like Austrian pilot Peter Salzmann, who released a fresh video of his extremely dangerous dive into the Austrian Alps and the valleys. Peter is a wingsuit pilot, base jumper, skydiver, sports scientist, but also a paragliding instructor and tandem pilot. He's also a stuntman pilot and a project head and safety trainer in the national projects Reach Fallen and Get Protected, taking care of accident and fall prevention in schools, with more than 20,000 participants since 2008. Okay, let's stay in the world of skydiving stunt pilots, because my first special guest is a really well-known guy in this industry. He has skydived with motion picture cameras for films, television and commercials. He also helps his clients to coordinate skydivers, aircraft and locations. Most of his 13,000 skydives were dedicated to training as a camera flyer, where he developed the muscle memory to fly aggressively with smooth and well-framed images. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the one and the only Joe Jennings.
I want to talk about the first thing how did that start when you first started putting things in freefall?
Man, you know, when I was with Rob Harris, we always talked about making a skydiving video, and we were always just, you know, whether we were partying and a little bit high or just in a car traveling somewhere, we always talked about just like making it something different, you know, because there were already videos out there that I think portrayed just beautiful, accomplished skydivers doing really, you know, beautiful jumps and wardrobe and all that. And we just thought, man, you know, maybe let's just go wreck stuff and just have fun and just do whatever we can that makes everybody who's around us just kind of crack up. You know what I mean? And so that was kind of the direction that both of us thought about taking. And then you know, even after Rob had passed and I was continuing on with the project, it just in that spirit, I just wanted to do unusual things, and it turned out to be just a really cool kind of a like, it was more than I expected it to be. You know, throwing things out of an airplane, you expect almost everything to just come out and fall straight down. Then of course you find out that every object has its own, you know, sort of fluid dynamic profile. It has its own aerodynamic profile. It's not just gonna fall, it's gonna fly, you know? Yeah. And then you have to figure out, okay, well, we want to film this thing. How do we make it fall fast enough or slow enough for us to film it?
I had a really interesting chat with Joe, and you can find the whole interview on our Air Sports Promotion YouTube channel. South California is joining to the Classic Aerobatic Championships calendar this year, and the first event seems to be a great aviation celebration. Two of California's premier international aerobatic championship chapters are teaming up to host the contest of 2021. By day, pilots will fly in the world's finest aerobatic box, built by the SEVA standards and designed to host the World Championships and practically visible from space. By night, together with all the guests, they'll trade laughs with some of the world's finest pilots at a relaxing desert resort. The contest will be held in all 5 aerobatic categories, plus unlimited 4-minute free program with smoke, oil and sound systems on site. The event starts tomorrow, and oh wow, I really wish I could be there. So in this season, we haven't really focused much on what's going on in the most challenging and emotional drone racing series, the DRL. And today, we have some massive crashes compilations from the last heat in Minnesota. Take a look.
Oh, Miwo swung wide, allowing Sky to catch up in this contact! No. Miwo hits the gate, but he's still up! Miwo going into the square gate. I think he was just pushing a bit too hard. He wanted that lead in the very beginning and crashes into the top of that square gate. Somehow, he survived that crash. And 707 right on his tail. Look at the lights on the ground. There's Vanover in the disco drone. Diving into the he's down! He's gone! Gap 707! He just has to fly clean. He'll take the win here. Gap 707 on top. Wow! That was incredible!
Last week, one of my special guests was Noah Forden from Team 4 in this year's America's Challenge gas balloon race. And we did say he was the winner of the 21 race, which, you know, is true, but he wasn't there alone in the basket. His teammate, Bert Paulette, joined me for a chat this week. Take a look.
Congratulations on your amazing win with Noah last week or the week before.
Thanks a lot. It was a nice flight.
It was cold, I believe, but...
Well, we were flying high most of the flight, and that was the strategy that we chose to do when we took off, because it was very slow, and so the only wind that we had was up high, and flying high at night, it was a little on the chilly side.
Your love of gas ballooning and building gas ballooning, tell me where that came from.
Well, gas ballooning has been a love of mine since I was a kid, and I, as a kid, dreamed of attaching myself to a balloon and drifting with the wind and traveling, and that was a dream of mine at a very young age. And I read a lot about balloons when I was young. In particular, I read a lot about a man named Tony Fairbanks in our country, who was a gas balloonist in the 1930s, was when he started. And he was actually going to fly in the Gordon Bennett in 1939 out of Poland. He was one of the U.S. teams. And so Tony never actually flew in a Gordon Bennett. But I was fortunate to meet his family. Coincidentally, I was teaching children the art of model ballooning, and I met Tony's daughter, and she took me to meet him, and Tony took me under his wing and taught me how to fly gas balloons.
And you can find the whole full-length interview with Bert again on our Air Sports Promotion YouTube channel. Alright, so we have two very interesting items of news from the eVTOL world. First one is dedicated for the industry, and the second one for private clients. Volocopter's electric heavy lift drone, the Volodrone, conducted its first public flight in mid-October during the ITS World Congress 21. Together with the international logistics leader DB Schneider, Volocopter demonstrated Volodrone's seamless integration into the logistics supply chain with an end-to-end cargo transport demonstration. The 3-minute test flight took off at 3:02 p.m. at Homeport, Hamburg, and reached a maximum altitude of 22 meters. Also, the Jetson manufacturer were excited to share more footage from their ongoing flight testing with Jetson 1 pre-production electric aircraft. This one will be dedicated strictly for the private usage, allowing owners to do some really crazy flights wherever they want to. The one-seat extraordinary aircraft weighs less than 200 pounds, and one battery gives a pilot ability to spend more than 15 minutes airborne. The price of one of these beauties is $60,000 US. Do you want one? Now, if you want to be an original aeromodelling pilot, you need to show something unique in the air. And on the market right now, you can buy a lot of great RC planes, but you can also build your own using a cardboard box. Is it really possible? Let's find out.
Every heart remembers a love's first kiss, a soul that cared enough just to forgive. If we could take a look at what's inside, see what really makes us come alive.
Well, to be honest, I didn't really believe it when I read the script, but it was flying. Well done, congratulations, man. Alright, let's move on to our Hall of Fame section. On the 17th of October 1913, on the morning of a scheduled test flight nearby Berlin City in Germany, the second rigid airship built from the Imperial German Navy by Zeppelin was delayed by problems with the engines. The morning sun heated the hydrogen contained in the airship's gas bags, causing the gas to expand and increasing the airship's buoyancy. Once released, L2 rose rapidly to approximately 2,000 feet, and all 28 people on board were either killed immediately or died of their injuries shortly thereafter. On the 15th of October 1957, a Pan American World Airways Boeing Model 377 Stratocruiser flies from Christchurch, New Zealand to United States Navy's Antarctic Research Station on Ross Island in McMurdo Sound. The flight was to test the feasibility of conducting commercial flights to support the US Navy's operations in the Antarctic. On the 18th of October 1922 at Selfridge Field near Mount Clemens, Michigan, Assistant Chief of the Air Service Brigadier General William Mitchell set the FAI World Absolute Speed record flying a Curtiss R6 biplane over a 1 kilometer course with a speed of 354.84 kilometers an hour, which is almost 223 miles per hour. This was the same airplane with which Lieutenant Russell Mohan had won the Pulitzer Trophy just 3 days earlier. Also on the 18th of October 1909, Charles Alexandre de Lambert became the first student to successfully complete the Wilbur Wright Aviation School at Par City. He flew his Wright Model A flyer from Port Aviation to Vauchalon in the outskirts of Paris. De Lambert circled the Eiffel Tower at an altitude of 400 meters, which is about 1,300 feet, and then returned to Par, located on the northern edge of the Pyrenees. So that's the last episode of Season 8 Air Sports News, ending right here. And I have some brilliant news. We'll be continuing our journey into the 9th season of our program with a completely new studio and some great upgrades as well. I can't wait to see it. Now, please, hope you'll join us again. So subscribe, like and share, and we'll see you next week. But as always, stay safe and keep your eyes on the skies. The last one in front of the television. There we go. No more televisions. The magic of green screen. Thanks, guys.